Hi everyone, Raani here. You're listening to Clean With Me, the podcast where I talk you through cleaning your house.
Thanks for joining me. In this episode, we are going to be deep cleaning your laundry room and working on any residual clean laundry pile that you may have. We're also going to be talking about various laundry systems that could improve your laundry situation. So let's get right into it. Before we begin, there might be a couple things you want to do to kind of gear up for your cleaning session. Maybe you want to light a candle or start a wax warmer. Or maybe there's a glaring problem that you want to take care of before you head to the laundry room. And don't tune me out if you don't have a laundry room. This could be your laundry area. Could be in your garage. Could be in your kitchen. I know a lot of homes have the washer and dryer in the pantry. We had that before. I know in Europe a lot of times their washer and dryer are in the kitchen. Or again, it might be out in the garage. But before you head to your laundry area, you might want to quickly straighten up the front entrance of your home or your main living area that gets cluttered, whether it's a living room, a family room, whatever you call that room that's very lived in. Maybe you want to pick up that room really quickly. Or maybe you want to empty your dishwasher so that people can put their dirty dishes into it throughout the day and you can run it tonight. You know, sometimes we do that. Sometimes we're off that wagon more often than not. But whatever you need to do, I'm going to give you a few minutes to gear up for your cleaning session. And while you're doing that, I'll talk about some laundry methods just to kind of introduce those ideas. One of them is a weekly laundry day. I think sometimes when it comes to laundry, we miscalculate how much laundry we have. We either think we need to do a load a day when we don't, or we think that we don't have enough for one load a day when we do. Or we think we're doing laundry once a week, but we're going even longer than that. And I think for me, it depends on the season of life that I'm in. At this point, I have teenagers and a husband who are putting things into the washing machine, so I don't really have to think that hard about laundry. But I do remember a time when I tried different methods and had to think more about it. Personally, my biggest struggle is keeping up on folding and putting away clean laundry because everybody's really big on washing and drying laundry in this house, but not so much on putting it away. So we're definitely going to delve into that during this episode. But be straightening up your house or just doing whatever you need to do to get motivated, even if that might just mean freshening up a little bit, whatever you like to do at the beginning of one of these sessions. I like to assume, maybe you're already ready to clean when you turn on the episode, but I like to assume that I'm helping you get off the couch or out of bed. That's why sometimes I say, freshen up a little bit at the beginning of an episode. I'd like to think that maybe somebody is clicking on the episode and not even sure if they're going to clean, but listening out of curiosity, and then I motivate them to get moving. But that may not be the case with you, but it's sometimes what I imagine. Okay, in a few more minutes, we're going to be heading to the laundry room or laundry area. So what you're going to need is some type of old toothbrush or a small cleaning brush of sorts. I have a small cleaning brush that's about the size of a toothbrush, or sometimes I just grab an old toothbrush. And yeah, I'm kind of squeamish about that. So when I use an old toothbrush to clean and I plan to keep it, I will wrap a piece of duct tape around the handle of the toothbrush just so that I can tell that it's a cleaning toothbrush. Or I simply use an old toothbrush to clean and then toss it when I'm done with it. Because you know how it is, you replace your toothbrush fairly often anyway. But you're going to want to grab a toothbrush and then you're going to want to grab something to clean with. It could be disinfecting wipes. That's what I use in my laundry room. Or it could be just some rags and your favorite cleaning product. It could be a little dish that you're going to put either bleach or vinegar in. But we're going to be doing some work with a little scrub brush on the inner lid of your washing machine. Because unless your washing machine is brand new, you may have some gross buildup that you may not have thought about dealing with. But it looks pretty gross, especially if you've had your washing machine for like 5-6 years. There's going to be some buildup. And maybe you're already addressing that on a regular basis, or maybe you're not. Let's head to your laundry area. Before you start that first load, I want you to open up your washing machine and see if you need to do any cleaning as far as the inside of the door. Our previous house was a rental. I've never really owned a front loader, but our previous house was a rental and it had a little closet with a stacking washer and dryer that were front loaders. And this rubber rim, the seal, I guess, around the opening of the washer just collected so much stuff. Not just gross debris, but also like just little items that ended up in our washing machine. And I had to clean that. And I'm not a super meticulous housekeeper, per se, but that had to be dealt with. It was really gross. So with my top loading washing machine, there's just some gunk that kind of builds up in the door, but it's much easier to clean than the seal of a front loader. So whatever you're dealing with, like I said, I like using a disinfecting wipe, but I don't expect you to be going into this episode with those wipes because not everybody has those. So you might need to just grab a rag or whatever you use to clean. So basically, you will want to get it wet with some type of product and scrub it with a brush. Okay? Just to get rid of that discoloration, that gunk. And obviously there are things you can run through your washing machine to clean it. I don't worry about that much. Obviously, maybe that would increase the lifespan of your washer or something like that, doing some kind of vinegar load. But I put vinegar in when I'm washing clothes. And this episode really is not about the maintenance aspect. For example, my husband takes care of that area behind the dryer and my teenage son. I mean, I'm not saying it's necessarily a guy thing. That's just what happens at our house. They deal with that exhaust tube thing and whatever. That definitely does need to be cleaned. It could be a fire hazard. There's a lot of dust and debris building up back there. So, yes, you should deal with that on a very regular basis, but it's just beyond my level of expertise since I'm not the person at our house who deals with that. So I'm going to give you a few minutes to clean inside the door of your washing machine. With a top loader, there's, inside the lid itself, and then there's, when you look down, the area around where you put the clothes in. There's going to be some gunk and buildup in there unless your washing machine's brand new. So take a few minutes to clean that before we start a load, because this wouldn't be a laundry episode without starting a load. But I'm going to give you a few more minutes to clean that. And I'll talk some more about daily versus weekly laundry. And I'm even going to give you another option too. With the daily method, you may be thinking, well, there's only 3 of us or 4 of us, and we don't need to do an entire load every day. Insert your family size there. If you have a large family, you're like, yes, of course we need to do a load every day. But think about towels, bedding. If you're changing sheets on a different bed every week, that, especially if you're washing the comforter too, you're definitely going to have a load for each bed that you change out, or maybe you go 2 weeks, but you're going to have these bedding loads at times. Like I said, towels are included, not just clothing, cleaning rags. And with the 1 load a day method, if you do it from start to finish, it's not going to be very overwhelming, because if you really dread having that huge pile of clean laundry to fold and put away, doing 1 load, washing it, drying it, folding it, and putting it away can break that down into bite-sized pieces. It can become part of your routine. I think a big reason people like you and me need a show like this is because we tend to let some things build up. We tend to do things all at once. And obviously, I'm not saying you're going to get to the point where you don't need this show, but you might get to the point where you don't need to listen to a rerun every day because you have established some type of routine. What if there was a time of day where you started a load, set a timer, came back, put it in the dryer, and then folded it when it came out? Then it wouldn't always be this laundry switch where you're switching something from the washer into the dryer so that you can start a new load. And don't tune me out if you don't need to do a load a day, or you don't have time to do a load a day, because I'm going to be talking about other methods as well. And if you're wondering what I do, it's not really a set routine right now. What I kind of do is on a Saturday, I will wash whatever I can find, as far as I'll go look for dirty towels like in bathrooms, bedrooms, and I will wash what's in my bedroom hamper. But yeah, the kids are kind of doing laundry as needed throughout the week. Okay, so hopefully by now you've kind of dealt with the opening of your washing machine, the inside of the door, and then the area around the main opening. Now it's time to wipe down the exterior of your washer and dryer. For some reason, those can get really dusty, dirty, even grimy. So again, I use cleaning wipes for that, but you could also use your favorite cleaning product and paper towels or a rag to wipe those down. And of course, that includes the back part where the controls are. And if you have some like scuff marks on a white washer and dryer, you can clean those off with a magic eraser. But it's time to, start a load of laundry, of course, in your washing machine if you have dirty laundry that you need to wash. Then, once it's in, start wiping down the exteriors of your washer and dryer. So with the weekly method, everybody kind of has a hamper, and you put things in the hamper, and then you have a laundry day where you don't have a ton of other housework to do. Like you do that, maybe you clean the day before, and then on laundry day, you wash, dry, fold and put away, and I'm big on setting a timer to keep me from forgetting about it. You may not need that, but you keep doing that throughout the day, and you do a few loads, however many loads you need to do, and you're just in laundry mode. You listen to podcasts or you watch TV. One thing with folding and putting away laundry, you can be watching something while you do it. But, the weekly method doesn't really need a lot of explanation. And if you're not sure whether you're a daily or a weekly because you're kind of doing laundry haphazardly, I encourage you to experiment with various systems if what you're currently doing isn't working for you. Maybe you do have a handle on it and you're keeping up on it, then use this episode to deep clean your laundry room or your laundry area. We're going to talk about organization as well in just a few minutes. Now, I told you I'd give you another option. Another thing you can do if you have kids who are old enough to be involved, or if you don't, is to kind of divide the laundry up by person. Now, I would say that definitely by 14, probably earlier, but definitely a 14-year-old should be doing their own laundry. Okay. In my opinion, I mean, every child is different, but in my experience, most of my kids were, for the most part, doing their own laundry at around 14. My 13-year-old does her own laundry. My 16-year-old son does his own laundry. My 11-year-old son knows how to do laundry, but he doesn't necessarily just do a load of his own stuff. He'll just, I'll tell him to start a load of laundry and he'll gather up towels and whatever, he finds in the hamper. There's a hamper in the laundry room, so he'll grab some stuff out of there. He'll grab some towels and maybe put a few outfits of his own in there. Maybe just because his clothes are smaller, he doesn't really need to do a whole load as often as the teenagers, or it could be that they change clothes more often. Okay. All three of them, I have 3 kids living at home, an 11-year-old, a 13-year-old, and a 16-year-old. All 3 of them know how to wash their own bedding. They know how to wash their own laundry. But typically, my 13-year-old and my 11-year-old, a lot of their laundry does kind of get mixed into the loads that include my clothing and my husband's clothing and just towels and things like that. Okay. But my 16-year-old he's pretty good about putting his things into the hamper and then doing a load of his own stuff without being told on a regular basis. He's been like that for a long time, though. I mean, he didn't start at 14. He just kind of took over his own laundry a long time ago. I can barely remember a time that he wasn't. I mean, obviously I remember when he was a baby and things like that, but I don't know how many years he's been doing it. Again, every child is different, but oftentimes my 13-year-old daughter she's kind of, I think, more of a weekly person. I think really with most teenagers, they can just have a day that they do it, maybe on a Saturday morning. So they kind of just do it on their own, but especially my son. But they probably could get by doing it weekly. And then if they don't have enough stuff, they could, add some towels. Although I did have to say something to him once because he had a lot of laundry accumulated and he put everything into one load. And then I told him that you filled the washing machine too full. Like, I don't have to talk to him about his laundry very often, but when I opened it, I was like, whoa, this was too full. It's a large capacity washing machine. But apparently he had missed his laundry day or something. This might have been 2 weeks worth, but it was too full. So definitely, and I realize not everybody has kids this age. Everybody's in different stages of life. But if you have big kids, consider teaching them how to do laundry Again, my 11-year-old knows how to use the washer and dryer, but especially I think by 14. And, teenagers, like I said, they're sometimes changing their clothes a lot, or they don't necessarily have time to be digging through a laundry pile to find something because they're on the go a lot. So it's just easier for them. It makes their life easier if they do their own laundry. And of course, it makes that community laundry pile smaller, which as a mom, that's what I'm trying to do, is minimize the size of the pile that I have to deal with. Okay, by now you've probably wiped down the exterior of your washer and dryer. Hopefully you have some clothes in the washing machine washing, since this is about getting caught up on your laundry and not just cleaning your laundry room / laundry area. But you may also have a shelf in your laundry room to deal with. If not, I recommend, installing one. Having a shelf above the washer and dryer is super convenient. That's where I keep my detergent, my fabric softener. I'm not real big on fabric softener, but my husband is. Let's see, what else do I have up there? I'm going to head in there and check. Okay, you can probably even hear my dryer going. I'm in the laundry room right now. Oh, I have a little miniature washboard. It's not real. It's kind of a decoration. It says laundry service 25 cents. I have laundry decor. I have a little sign above my dryer on the wall that says, "We can handle ironing all your pressing needs." I think my sister gave me that. And then I have a sign on the wall up above the shelf, "Borax is king, softens water, saves, cleans, I can't read, and whitens clothes." It's kind of a vintage thing. And then this is so cute. I have a picture of my youngest son when he was a baby in like a little wash tub, I guess you could say, a bucket of some sort. And there's a little washboard next to him, and there's a little sign about laundry. The little pictures you have taken of your baby with the shirt off and the little bucket. Cutest thing ever. Now that I'm in here, I'm realizing that I need to wipe down the walls in here. So when I go to wipe down the shelf and remove everything off of the shelf, because there are some random items, not going to lie, there's a hammer up there. Okay. There's a motorcycle helmet. I think with it being near the garage, some things kind of just land here. Okay. But I'm gonna head out of here because there's some background noise. But what I ideally keep up there, obviously I need to clean my laundry room. That's one of the reasons why I'm talking about it in this episode. But what I'm supposed to keep on that shelf, besides the detergent, the fabric softener, is a little container for lint, and then another container for small items that I might find when I'm doing laundry. Coins, a $1 bill, a $5 bill. Okay, let's be real. That stuff might be considered a finder's fee, okay? I do tell my kids this, like, if you find something that's like $5 below when you're doing laundry, you can keep it. But I don't know if you have that policy at your house. But obviously, if you find a 20, you should probably ask whose it is. But coins, Legos, if you have little boys, chapstick, that's something that ends up going through. We use the Burt's Bees brand, but I call it a chapstick. So you may want to remove everything off your shelf and wipe it down, okay? You may also need to wipe the walls because of just the lint and whatnot. If you're thinking like, why are your walls in bad condition? I think my husband needs to kind of do his thing and get a new pipe thing that goes on the back of the dryer. He's aware of it, but he mentioned something about it. He'll deal with it. But I think that's causing the laundry room to be kind of a mess because we need to put a new exhaust pipe thingy on there. I don't even know if I'm calling it the right thing. But anyway, if you have a laundry shelf, it's time to remove stuff, wipe that down, put stuff back. But organization-wise, what you want to keep on there are your products, like your detergent, your fabric softener, a container to put the lint, when you clean the little thing in the dryer and you get like a handful of lint, a container for that, unless you have a wastebasket. We don't have a lot of floor space, so there's no place to put just a trash can. Okay, but you might have room for that. So if you don't have a wastebasket, you might need a little lint box. Definitely if your washer and dryer are out in the garage, you probably have room for a wastebasket next to them. And then you might want a little basket for these little chapsticks and coins and Legos that you find when you check pockets. You do check pockets, right? Yeah, unfortunately, kids don't always check pockets, but definitely I try to check the pants pockets when I am putting stuff into the washing machine. So while you're working on that shelf, if you have one, if you don't have the shelf, you can move on to the floors, because that's what we're going to be doing last, is just cleaning the floor. If your walls don't need to be wiped down, cleaning the floor. Another thing on the organization front is having places to hang stuff. Okay, like I have these rules, like you don't put your bras or swimsuits for girls in the wash or in the dryer. You hang them up, and you may have other items that you want to hang up. So it's convenient to have either a bar with hangers that you can hang stuff on, but if you don't, having just a few little hooks could be handy for certain items. Like with the bras, I hang them on a little hook. Okay, that might not be your style, but that's the way I do it. You can't be putting your underwire bras in the dryer every time, or you're going to wear them out and that wire is going to pop out. Okay, just saying. Most of our clothes do go into the dryer. It's mainly just my bras that get hung on a hook, and I have the whole family trained on that. So they all know that's a rule. But like I said, my teenagers are usually doing their own laundry, so it's usually my 11-year-old that might wash a load that has my stuff in it. And I think why my teenage daughter's clothes end up in the community load, so to speak, is just when I'm going around picking up, cleaning, I find her stuff and I just, throw it in the hamper. There's a hamper in the laundry room. And I think she's more likely to put her stuff in that hamper than one in her bedroom. So, yeah, I'm going to have to talk to her about that while I'm thinking about it. Because ideally, she would put stuff in a hamper in her own room. That way her stuff's not getting mixed in. Obviously, when your kids are younger, you may be mixing all this stuff, which brings me to my next point. Okay, be cleaning your laundry room, whatever else needs to be done, whether it's wiping down the shelf or sweeping and mopping the floor or even wiping down walls. You also might need to clean the inside of a hamper. If it's made of like wood or wicker, like it's an actual basket, you might want to vacuum it out. If it's a plastic hamper, you may want to just take it outside and power wash it with soap and water. Anyway, do whatever else needs to be done in your laundry room, and I'll keep talking about laundry methods. Now, if you have kids who are younger and everybody's laundry is in one huge load and it ends up overwhelming, maybe maybe you're like me and you don't always fold and put away a load as soon as it comes out of the dryer. If you do, good for you. Just use this episode to detail your laundry area. Okay. But if you're like me, you may have a place that you put clean laundry and there may be more than one load in that place. And it may be kind of overwhelming that you're folding the laundry of several different family members, but they're too little to do it themselves or too busy or whatever. Okay. In that situation, you may want to consider washing loads by person, because there are different ways of sorting laundry. When I was a kid and a teenager and even a young married mom, a single person, and then on to being a young married mom, I would, for the most part, separate by color. My mom wasn't real big on a white load with bleach. That was something you do just once in a while. But she had a light load and a dark load. And you did, like, you were more likely to wash the dark stuff in cold, and then the lighter colors you washed. And the idea was that you didn't want the dark things to bleed onto the light colors. Like, you didn't want everybody's white socks turning pink because you washed it with a brand new red sweater or something like that. It seems like nowadays that's not as big of an issue. Like, the formulas have changed. Obviously, I would be careful with something that's brand new and bright red, what you wash it with, but you may not have to divide things by color anymore. We don't really do that anymore. When my husband was working out of town, one time he was in the laundry room of the apartment, because before we actually moved here, he was staying in a company apartment when he would work. Long story, but there was a laundry room, and I remember him telling me this old lady said I was doing the laundry wrong because I put everything in. And he's like, obviously I know about separating colors, but I just wanted to put all my stuff in one load. But yeah, my theory is that nowadays it's less important to separate by color than it used to be. Okay, so maybe if you're hanging on to that rule, I give you permission to experiment a little bit. You may not have to do that. And I mean, you probably still want to wash your darker colors in cold, but it just depends. I mean, sometimes there's these loads where you really need to sanitize them and you want to wash them in hot, for whatever reason. But sometimes it's okay to just wash everything in cold to save money. So, that having been said, I grew up with the entire family's laundry being mixed together, but divided mainly by color. There might be a towel load, a light load, a dark load, and then the occasional bleach load if something needed to be bleached. Now, I still do that. If there's something white that has a stain on it or whatever needs to be bleached, I will just gather up all the white things that I can find and I'll do a white load with bleach. Okay, that's definitely a thing. There's a time for it. But I do not divide darks and lights anymore. Maybe unconsciously I do it a little bit, but I'm not really picky about that. I tend to do the towels a little bit separately from dressy clothing because I don't want it to get lint on it. But I will combine towels with like jeans. Anyway, all that to say this. You may want to change the way you organize a load, meaning you may want to do it by person. Okay, that young child who doesn't do his or her own laundry yet, you could do a load just for that person. And when I do a load that's just for one person, I'll include towels in there. Because a large bath towel is like the easiest thing to fold. It's probably what you reach for first when you go to fold your laundry. And it's not the same as mixing everybody's laundry together. Hopefully by now you've wiped down any shelf in your laundry area. Maybe you've found a little container from somewhere in the house to use for lint in the future, or a little basket for small items. I've seen cute stuff for like single socks in the laundry room, but for me, I don't really get that because I don't fold my laundry in my laundry area. I'm either going to fold it in my room, on my bed, or out on the couch. Okay. But maybe you need something for stray socks in there. I have seen, speaking of other possible systems, I have seen people like online who have like baskets or drawers in this huge laundry room where they pull things, when they pull things out of the dryer, they're sorting it by person, like, oh, this is so-and-so's, it goes in their basket or whatever, like their clean laundry baskets are in the laundry room. I don't have room for that, and I suspect that a lot of you don't. But that may be an option for some. So that's something you can look up, go on Pinterest and, laundry organization methods or something like that. Once you're done sweeping and mopping your laundry room floor, if that's needed, it's time to fold and put away any residual clean laundry pile that you may have. Okay. For some of us, that's an ongoing battle. I know of one person who has like a laundry basket just for socks. I thought that was an interesting idea. When she folds and puts away the laundry, she just puts the socks into a basket. That way she doesn't get hung up on sorting the socks or putting them away, but she's also not procrastinating on dealing with the entire pile, so she doesn't have like this backlog of clean laundry. She's only procrastinating on the socks, so to speak. So that's a possible solution. If you're like, oh, it's just so much, and then there are all these socks and they don't have mates and I'm not even sure who they belong to or whatever. If you have a large family, you know the struggle. You could have a basket, a clean laundry basket that is dedicated just for socks, or some other container that's just for the clean socks. Put them in there and then fold and put away everything else. And then people can come get their socks. That's one possible solution. I think sometimes we get these mental blocks, like we want to go all or nothing. We might be thinking, well, my mom folded and put away, every sock was matched up with a mate, folded a certain way, and people have different ways of how they fold their socks. In our family, it was like you folded it into a little ball. But then my husband believed in the other method where you just fold over the top of the sock so that you're less likely to stretch it out, but you're still pairing it. Years ago, I quit folding the socks altogether. And so what I do is I make a pile for each person. Okay. I will typically fold laundry on my freshly made bed, and there'll be a pile for each person whose laundry is, in the clean laundry bin. Yes, I have a big thing for that. It's like a wooden chest. I'm not proud that I have a resting place for clean laundry that should be getting folded when it comes out of the dryer, but some of you may relate. Anyway, I fold and I put things into what I call family piles, meaning they're in a pile for each family member, okay? Each family member who's included. And even if you have a family member who does their own laundry, sometimes my 16-year-old son will have like one or two items that ended up in the community laundry. I'll do the family piles, so there'll be, I'm talking like pants, shirts, skirts, whatever, in a pile for each person. But then with the socks, instead of folding them together, I'll just put them in a pile based on who they belong to. Okay, these are my husband's socks. These are my son's socks, which brings me to my next point. You may, if you're struggling to know whose socks they are, you may want to have some kind of a system for how people's socks look. Okay. For example, with my son, his socks have a gray toe, like gray on the toes, and then my husband's are solid black, and that's how we tell them apart. So a while back, we started buying my teenage son, since my son and my husband both like wearing black socks, we started getting my son the ones that have like the gray toe and the gray heel, and then my husband just solid black socks. So when I'm dividing them into piles, the plain black ones go in one pile, the ones with the gray toe go in another. Another solution with kids that are similar in age is buying everybody the same type of sock. When my oldest two were little and I worked off and on outside of the home during that stage, I found a type of socks that were unisex and they were white, and I would just get a big pack of socks for both of them. They were 2.5 years apart, but somehow it still worked. So that's a possible thing. But I give you permission if you want to start a system with socks, and I've done this before. You can throw away socks that don't conform to the new system and just really streamline it. Buy some new socks where it's easy to tell, whose are whose, or people that are the same size having the same socks. Actually, they're 2 years and 9 months apart, but somehow, socks, you wear the same size sock for a while is my point. So even if your kids aren't super close in age, you may be able to get them the same type of sock, or you might decide that each one is going to wear a different color or a different style of sock. But if they have the same type, you could just kind of divide them in half. But I don't fold the socks together that often. I'm not going to say I never do, because if I put them in piles and then I see a lot of ones that I can easily match up, I may fold them. I do it my husband's way now. I've been doing that for I don't know how many years. But I would, maybe fold a few of them. But if you're cringing right now, like, wait, what? You just put a bunch of single socks into the person's sock drawer? Well, they do it themselves because they're older. But yes, that's what we do. I just pile them on top. So let's say there's, let's say this is a small load or whatever. And let's say it's my son who mainly does his own laundry. There might be a pair of jeans, a t-shirt, a pair of underwear, stacked, folded and stacked. And then on top, just black socks with a gray toe. And then I just tell him, come get your pile. Okay? Other people are going to have bigger piles because I'm having to deal with their laundry more often. I do soon want to get to the point where all three of them are using their own bedroom hamper consistently and doing their own load once a week. Obviously, I didn't create this episode because I have the perfect solution. Our routines and ways of doing things are always evolving as our family grows and gets older and our lifestyle changes. But I'm just talking about the various methods that I have dabbled in over the years. But what I'm working toward right now is getting to the point where I'm only doing my own laundry. I mean, my husband also sometimes will just gather up his own stuff and do a load of his stuff. Okay, so yeah, it would be nice if I could just do my own, and I'm getting closer to that point. But I understand that not everybody is at this stage. And the beauty of that is if you're only doing your own laundry, then you know which items you don't want to put in the dryer, because everybody knows to hang up the bra, but not everybody knows that, a specific blouse has never been through the dryer and I'd rather it just be hung up to be on the safe side, that type of thing. But you kind of have to let go of that control when other people are helping you with your laundry. So that's something to think about as well. But what I was talking about with not folding the socks and just, having them go straight into the drawers like that, well, what's better? One of your kids digging through a basket or a huge pile of clean laundry to try to find socks, or finding two socks that match in their drawer full of socks, in their sock drawer. You see what I'm saying? I think a lot of times we get these, I was trying to say earlier, we get these mental blocks, like a person who is like, I'm turning over a new leaf, I'm going to cook everything from scratch. And then all they buy are ingredients and they don't buy any convenience foods. Well, what's going to happen when they don't feel like cooking? They're going to order a pizza. They're going to go out to eat. And maybe one of their goals was to save money. Well, now they're not saving money. But if they had bought a few, in my day we called them TV dinners. People my age might know what that means, but frozen foods. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, okay, are you going to go out to McDonald's for chicken McNuggets, or are you going to have some nuggets in your freezer for that night that you don't feel like cooking? And I'm not saying not to get fast food, order pizza, go out to eat. We do that also. But what I'm saying is I try to have some convenient items that I'm not cooking from scratch so that I don't have to pay for gas or a pizza delivery fee or just pay more for the food. So there's a balance there. Okay. What I'm saying is if you're never folding the socks and they're just always buried in a pile of clean laundry, that's making mornings more inconvenient for the whole family. So you could either send those socks to their room for them to put in their sock drawer. Okay, or if it's your own stuff, put them in your sock drawer if it's your own socks. Or you could do what my friend does and have a basket just for socks because she just doesn't want to deal with the socks. But it's probably easier for people to go find socks in that way. So than it would be if they were digging through the pile. See what I'm saying? Which brings me to my last point. The other thing that I do is when there is a large community pile of clean laundry, I will say, hey guys, it's time for a laundry blitz. And I think I've mentioned this on other episodes. And you know how I am about making up little terms, little catchphrases for things. I call it a laundry blitz. A laundry blitz is where the kids come to my room. They come to my clean laundry pile, pull out everything that belongs to them, and put it away. And sometimes I'll say that it includes towels, that I also need to fold and put away the towels, put some in each bathroom. This is another thing that I've kind of done. I've streamlined towels where I just keep buying gray towels because gray matches with both bathrooms instead of a different color for each bathroom. Okay. It's kind of like how, there's a certain color sock for people. Well, and how two of my kids used to share the same socks. Well, yeah, now I have towels that are all the same color. It's a thing. So yeah, when all else fails and you're tired of doing other people's laundry, if they're big enough, you can do a laundry blitz. Obviously, if your kids are super little, you're going to have to fold the clothes for them. Okay. But in the laundry blitz, they gather their own clothes, fold them themselves, and take them to their room and put them in the drawers. Another thing you can do if you have kids, I don't want this episode to be all about kids because some of you don't have them, but another thing you can do if you have kids is like, hey, you guys can watch a movie, but you're going to fold clothes while you watch. And then you bring that, basket out to the couch or whatever. So that's another possible. But if you personally are folding and putting away most of the laundry and that's just the way it needs to be right now, you may want to consider either one load a day, a weekly laundry day where you do several loads and not much other housework. And you may want to stop folding socks and maybe put them directly into the drawer because that's better than leaving them in the pile. Or maybe you want to have a sock basket. I said that was my last point, but I do have one other thing. When you're folding and putting away laundry, that's a great time to purge items. When you notice like a small hole or something wearing out, or you just look at something and you're like, last time I saw my kid wear this shirt, it was a little short. Like sometimes I'll notice my 11-year-old's wearing a shirt that's a little short. Like if he raises his arms, it's going to show it's his stomach, and he has other shirts that fit. So I'm like, quit wearing that. It's too small. But he doesn't want to quit or whatever. Well, you see something like that in the laundry. Okay, I'm going to put this in the pile of things that I'm going to pass down to, one of my smaller nephews or something. So you do want to use your laundry time to take things out of circulation. Hopefully you got your laundry area clean during this episode, and hopefully I've given you some ideas on keeping up with your laundry. If you started a load near the beginning of this episode, maybe set a timer to remind you to switch that load into the dryer here in a few minutes. And maybe listen to one of my topical episodes while you fold and put away a load. Special thanks to my financial supporters. Special thanks to everyone who's given me a positive review, whether on Apple Podcasts or some other app. Those 5 stars help me. Thank you for those. But most of all, just keep listening. I appreciate each and every one of you. And as always, happy cleaning. We'll talk to you in the next episode.